Well, I'm not sure about you, but I'm really struggling to keep up with Norwich City at the moment. It's been a truly chaotic few days in the world of Norwich City. We've had Gabby Sarra sold for 20 million quid. We've had Johnny Rowe refusing to play in the first team. We've had the first game of the season where we were battered by Oxford. We've had the debut and the signing of Force and Amankwa. We've had the sale of Adam Eder to Celtic in a package rumoured to be worth £9.5 million. And now, the most seismic news of them all, that Delia and Michael Wynn-Jones will no longer be majority shareholders at Norwich City Football Club. Yes, you've heard that right. The Attanasio Group, Norfolk Holdings Limited, will be the new majority shareholders at Norwich City, will take majority control. And, well, it ends a truly mammoth era from Delia and Michael. 27 years. I think there were 6 promotions, 6 relegations, and 5 trophies in that time. A truly incredible reign as the owners of this football club, and have taken us on a journey. I mean, they've literally predated my life as owners of Norwich City. My entire football supporting life, they have been the ones at the helm at the football club, and have transitioned us from a fairly mediocre, and here come the jokes, have transitioned us from a fairly mediocre, poorly attended, tier 2 side into a side that has competed in the Premier League, a side that has continually been at the top of the Championship table, have won trophies, have been on incredible Wembley winning runs, and it's certainly been a roller coaster. And I think my overwhelming sense when I heard this news, and I'm sure, and I think at this stage people will start to give Delia Smith and Michael Wynn-Jones the respect and the love that they deserve. It's only, isn't it, often when these people move on that you look back and you go, "Oh, actually, they did a seriously good job." The overwhelming feeling for me is one of how much football has changed, as opposed to how much Delia and Michael Wynn-Jones have held the club back. That was never, ever in their interest. They're only ever they've always acted in the best interests of this football club. They are true fans of this football club more than anything, and love the community in which Norwich City is set. And I think that's always been the absolute key pillar for them. They've always said, haven't they, they're kind of just they're holding the club in place, and they will move on, but the club will outlast them. And the transition is now starting to happen. We obviously had Mark Attanasio and his group of investors come into the club. What was it, 18 months ago? We obviously spoke to them on this channel, and if you haven't actually watched that interview with the Attanasios, or you did watch it at the time but fancy a refresh, they're still on the channel. We spoke to them just as they'd kind of bought into the club and their first involvements with the football club, and you could see from that chat, and you could see from their vision that this was the point that they wanted to reach, that they wanted majority ownership, that they wanted control at this football club. And this has been a multi-year process in terms of getting them in the right place, finding the right people. Delia Smith and Michael Wynn-Jones weren't stupid. They knew that age wasn't on their side, and they needed to find the next good people to lead this football club into the next era. And there were plenty of options for them along the way, and the Attanasios were the people that they deemed suitable and fit for the job. And now they have 85% of the football club if all goes well. So they will have 85%. Delia and Michael Wynn-Jones will have 10%, and then other shareholders, fan groups, etc., will have 5% of the football club. Now, I'll let you read all the financial detail online. I'm not here to explain all of that. But essentially, Delia and Michael Wynn-Jones haven't taken a penny for their shares. So it's not a done deal yet. There's still contracts to sign and signatures to put on paper. That will happen at an AGM meeting in November, so still a couple of months until it's official. But these are the first steps to make that happen, and it comes at a really interesting time for Norwich. We've just lost on the opening day. It felt like a horror show. The squad is moving and shaking every day. I mean, the Eder sale yesterday, a great example of that. And it feels like a true transition now. And I mean, to top it off and put a cherry on top, this is the ultimate transition. You're transitioning from an ownership group that have been here for 27 years to a new feel, a new era, and I guess Norwich trying to make their way into the new stage of football. I mean, as I said earlier in the video, it's been a monumental shift from since Delia and Michael Wynn-Jones came into the game, and even I look back to kind of 2011, 12, 13, around that stage when we were kind of in the Premier League under Paul Lambert. I was a teen at that point and at the absolute pomp of my football-loving life, and it felt as if Norwich could genuinely compete in the Premier League, basically with a League One side. We survived under Paul Lambert. We won lots of games. We managed to score lots of goals. It was great fun, and that was only 10 years ago. Imagine the change that they've seen in like near enough 30 years. The change in the last decade. I mean, imagine coming up now with that Paul Lambert side and trying to compete. You just wouldn't have a chance. I mean, Luton, I guess, were of a similar level, but again, that felt different. And the only reason they came even close to staying up were down to other teams having point deduction. So it's always been a feeling for me that it's not necessarily the fault of Delia and Michael Wynn-Jones. It's been the fault of football, if you want to lay blame of why Norwich City maybe haven't been able to compete sustainably in the top tier. And actually, kudos to Delia and Michael, who have actually pivoted and transitioned incredibly well over that time to give us a fighting chance. 5 trophies, 6 promotions, 6 relegations. Granted, we are now back into the second tier of English football and operating probably in the mid to bottom end of it. But the foundations at the football club, the ground, the training ground, the infrastructure, the academy, like it feels in a really good place. And granted, there's still so much work to be done, and that will continue to happen. And hopefully Ben Napper and Johannes Hoff-Thorpe and Zoe Webber and etc. will continue to lead that ship. But in terms of from an ownership standpoint, I'm not too sure what else could have been done other than just chucking money that we never had at the operation and hoping that some of it sticks. And I think the lovely thing with Delia and Michael, if you've been supporting Norwich City for a long while, or even if you haven't, you'll probably have your own stories of Delia and Michael. I know Chris shared it on his Twitter, a handwritten letter that just turned up from Delia one day when his father was ill. I've spoken and met Delia multiple times at different away games. She was always mixing with the fans, and that's really rare. You're owner of a football club and a notable owner as well, just mixing with fans. She was a fan. She loved the matchday experience with her husband and bless her late mother. It's a lifestyle. It's a passion for her, and that will be missed. But things change and times change, and you have to adapt. And clearly, the people at the football club feel that this is the right time, and it feels like the right time from a standpoint. And in come Mark and Mark Attanasio and Richard Ressler and Mike Attanasio and their various advisors. Obviously, Delia and Michael will become honorary life members. They'll stand down as directors, and in come the Attanasio group, and they will be the ones as figureheads and making these decisions going forwards. Look, I don't think money is going to be chucked at this. I think they're very shrewd operators. I think they're obviously incredibly intelligent, and this isn't going to be an Abramovich job at Chelsea. And actually, times have changed with financial fair play, so you can't really do that kind of stuff anymore. But I think this will be a lean and an efficient operation. I think it will take time, and obviously the Attanasios will want Premier League football, but that won't come at a reckless and an inappropriate cost for them. They will go about this very sensibly, I think, and that will be about processes and people and effective operations, as opposed to let's chuck 20 million quid at the next hot striker. And I think that might take some getting used to for people who just see American owners come in and go, we're expecting to make big money signings. And hopefully, some of that stuff will happen, and it should happen, certainly after, we've brought in 30 million quid on 2 players so far this transfer window in Adam Eder and Gabi Sara. So you would hope that some of that is reinvested. but they have bought an asset and they will deal with that asset in the way in which they deal with their other assets, and that's sustainably and cleverly, and they're investors at the end of the day. They will be looking kind of 5-10 years ahead and hoping for a sizable return. So this isn't going to be an instant turnaround. This will take time, but it is again another move into the next era, and now we just have to trust the people. Having met the Attanasio group myself, they feel and sound like very good people, and they do feel like they genuinely care. He's certainly you would hope a very morally upstanding citizen. And obviously Delia and Michael love them dearly and will know them very well, and I trust that they are the right people to take us forward. But with all of this comes caution and comes risk, and who knows, this might not be the right move, but it feels like if we are wanting to progress as a football club, this was the natural next step, and at some stage you have to take a leap into the unknown, and that's what's happening now. It's going to be fascinating. It really is. So the Attanasio Group, aren't officially, but will become majority shareholders at Norwich City, which ends a 27-year reign for Delia and Michael Wynn-Jones, and it's all change at Carrow Road. Let me know what you think of it all down in the comment section below, and I'll see you all again very soon. Bye-bye.